Hey guys, welcome back to Dan Kapanek Photography. Hope all is going well for you guys. Things are cruising along in my world. This time what I'm going to do is a review of the Canon GX1 Mark II. This is a point and shoot camera, kind of a sophisticated point and shoot camera if you will. Came out in April of 2014, so pretty much 10 years ago this month. It's loaded with features, so many features, customizable and whatever, that I can't get into all of them, but the basics of the camera are: it's a 12 megapixel CMOS sensor. It has a 24 to 120 zoom that's actually a 2.0 to a 3.9, so it's pretty fast. It has these dual control rings on the outside of the lens that allow you to change the functions of the camera. It can shoot 5.2 frames per second. It's Wi-Fi capable. Does 1080 30p video. And one of the cool features about this camera is the articulating screen. It's pretty cool. In theory, you could do put it on a selfie stick and take videos and whatever with it. The other thing that I found particularly interesting about this camera is it's really heavy for what it is. It feels substantial and it feels well built. So yeah, but how did I? Oh, the other thing is this thing, and it retailed when it came out 10 years ago for $800. And in this release, Canon had removed the optical viewfinder, which they offered as an accessory for an additional $300. So a point and shoot camera that with an optical viewfinder would have cost $1,100 at the time. Who was the audience for? Who was this made for? I mean, it's made for the person who's on the go, the traveler, someone who wants something small they could put in a pocket, pull out, take pictures with really easily. Something that's way better than their cell phone, because you got to remember 10 years ago cell phone cameras weren't nearly what they are today. They're just not. They weren't very good. So this was meant to replace that. Maybe the family keeps it around the house, take pictures of their kids at their parties, going to the park or the beach or whatever. Something that's quick and easy and takes good pictures, that was a cut above its cell phone. Maybe not someone that doesn't want to get into photography necessarily with like a DSLR. However, I do have to say, at the same time, several DSLRs came out, and for comparison's sake, now we're talking $1,100 with a viewfinder. Canon released their it's an entry-level DSLR, the ES. Excuse me, I read this. Canon EOS Rebel TR with 18 to 55 kit lens. Has video capabilities, 24, that would have been an 18 megapixel, whatever. It came out for $549. Great base to get started with, great camera. Nikon released a D3300. That had a 24.2 megapixel APS-C sensor. Great ISO capability for what it was. Could do better video than this. That, and with a kit lens, the 18 to 55, that came out for $650. Both of those cameras would have been great base cameras to get your photography really going, because you could build from there. How did I come across this? Well, I didn't buy it. I know really very little about these kind of cameras. These types of cameras really don't interest me at all. But I am a realtor and I work in an office, and I was browsing through the cupboards in the office, and this was in there. Well, it has a cool lens. It's a 2.0 to 3.9 or whatever. It weighs a lot. I love cameras, so naturally I took an immediate interest. Like, what is this thing? This is pretty cool. The people I work with bought it years ago to use to take pictures of the homes they listed, and shortly after, they just started hiring a regular professional photographer to do it, because neither one of them were really into photography anyway. They'd rather not do it themselves. And this went on the shelf. It's like brand new. It was never used. So I immediately plugged it in, charged it up, and boom, came to life. So I thought, cool, I got to play with this. So I immediately look it up on eBay. This camera on eBay today is going for $400. So I immediately was like, piqued my interest, like, what in the world? How is this worth $400 10 years later? So I immediately, fell into that rabbit hole or wormhole about this camera. And I started playing with it. And I decided to make a video because, quite frankly, I think it's a total waste of money. I thought I would go through the paces. I thought I would do, like, use it for 30 days, try everything on it, do a thorough video on this thing and whatever. This is the first camera in my life I've ever used that I could not wait to stop using. This thing is awful. I can't imagine paying $800 for this camera without a viewfinder. Now, I get that there's a lot of people out there that use their screen to frame their pictures. I don't like that. I mean, in my cell phone, I don't mind it because for me personally, cell phone photography is play photography. I put not a whole lot of value in that. And like this dinky little Fuji, this thing, it's got the screen in the back. No, I expect this to not have a viewfinder. But this is a weighty, serious camera, and it would be so much better for to have a viewfinder, especially since the screen, quite honestly, isn't very good. So anyway, I decided to do a video on this camera to see if it's really and truly worth $400. And quite frankly, no. And here's why. First of all, when you turn it on, it's loaded with features, but it's like, so what? Here's the deal. If you look at the back of this camera, it's terrible. The autofocus takes forever to focus. Now, it's loaded with features that you can customize. But here's the deal. This is not designed, quite honestly, for those people. 90% of the people that buy this camera are going to use it simply as a point and shoot. They're just going to want to turn it on and go take pictures and capture some images of what they're doing. It's capable of a lot of various things. Now, there's going to be a select few that dig deep into that and really customize the camera. It has that capability. And maybe if I took the time to do that, I could take better pictures with it. But really, it's not designed that way. It's designed for the average guy just to turn it on and go shoot pictures. So I shot mostly in auto mode. On auto mode, when you take pictures with this thing, the focus is insanely slow. If it's a busy room or whatever at all, it searches. So that's the first thing. It drives me crazy. I hate the bouncing box. One of the things I hate about the autofocus in today's mirrorless cameras is the constant moving around of the box. Drives me crazy. I like to have a center point, focal point. I know exactly where I'm focusing. If I want to change it, I can. Now, I haven't played with mirrorless enough. I'm positive that's an option. For the autofocus, that bouncing box drives me nuts. Well, this, not only does it bounce all over the place, it can't decide where the hell it wants to go. So I had more problems with the autofocus. So that's the first problem with this camera. The second problem with this camera is the amount of time it takes once you actually can take a picture for it to actually take the picture. There's like this crazy delay. It's not like done. No, it's push the button, then done. It's like, what is this thing doing? I mean, by the time it takes the picture, your image could be totally gone. It just makes absolutely no sense. The lag is insane. Now, I've heard these types of cameras, even in like the Leica versions of this stuff, there is a lag. I can't handle it. Can't handle it. It just drives me nuts. I just don't get it. Yeah, I just can't do that. And I mean, it just, here's the other thing. I'm going to turn this off so it's not messing around. The other thing is, if you read the reviews, it's designed to be able to shoot with one hand. Well, look at this. I have big hands, right? it's got a teeny little grip right here, which is okay, and then one thumb rest. This thing's heavy. Trying to use this with one hand is incredibly, it's impractical. You really need two. And when you need two, for me, I like a viewfinder. If I've got to use two hands for something, I want a viewfinder. So that's another problem. And then all the function buttons are right here next to this thumb grip. So as you hold this camera, your thumb hits all these buttons and it's constantly changing what's going on. You have to constantly pay attention to that. I literally took several photos of a bunch of different styles or settings in the camera by accident because my thumb kept hitting this stuff. It does do video. Video's mediocre. Now, you would think it would be really cool for vlogging because it's got that really neat articulating screen. The screen's really cool. I mean, one of the cool features is that, in fact, you just put it, but on a selfie stick, the camera's so heavy, it's really awkward to try to use as a vlogging camera. So that's that. The other thing is, it's got a zoom. The zoom is, it's just really slow. It's frustrating. So frustrating for me as a photographer to try to use this camera. I just can't do it. But so there's a couple of things, forget all the features that it has essentially, right? The user interface, it has to be good, has to be comfortable, because that's what makes you want to take pictures. I mean, if it's awkward to use and funky to use, you're going to throw it on the shelf. I mean, quite frankly, you're not going to use a tool that's pain in the butt to use. You're just not. And so you'll be taking less pictures. It just doesn't make sense. But so the user friendliness is one of the aspects that I think is really important to photography. But what about the image quality? Let's take a look at the image quality. Here, what really matters most, of course, with cameras is, at the end of the day, the image quality. Image quality is mediocre depending on a few factors, I guess. But here's a picture of my cat, kind of close up. It's fairly sharp. It's usable, I guess. And she wasn't really moving around. Here's one, again, it was having a hard time finding focus. And again, it's not sharp, and it should totally be sharp. No reason for that. Another one, this one she just turned, it didn't catch it. By the time the lag between the time it focuses and you actually take the picture, your composition is gone. Another one, not sharp. Here, my cat's just sitting in this, like, my ex-snake cage is kind of funny, but sitting there not doing much. And again, none of them are particularly sharp. This little thing over here, which was the water dish, that's more sharp. Let's go back. Oh, here's a flower. Look at it. I was trying to focus on the first flower, and it didn't. It focused around it or wherever it was focusing. It was just really struggling. It's the strangest thing. Maybe I was a little too close. I don't know. At any rate, most cameras should grab this. This one up here is sort of in focus. Step back. It's a little better. Zoom in, and again, you zoom in, and the quality's terrible. Look at this. Look at this around the edge of the flower. It's awful. It's just not a good lens. It's really not. This is okay. The lemon isn't moving. Wasn't so bad. Here's another group. Again, these aren't even sharp. Look, they weren't even moving, and they're not sharp. Super frustrating. All right, so here's a long distance shot. It's got this zoom lens. It goes out to 120, and it's a 2.0 to 3.9. You think awesome, but when you really look at it, this one's not too bad. But it's still a little soft. There's black and white conversion. It's kind of cool. Here's I was taking this shot, and as I was taking this shot, I accidentally with my thumb kept hitting different available options for the program. Look, this was another one. It was square, faded out look. This looks kind of cool. It's not so bad. I don't mind that. But these were all accidental. Look, because my finger was hitting a button I didn't want it to, because it's just the ergonomics are terrible. So yeah, that's just terrible. This is a static building. This one's not too bad. Building wasn't moving. Bright sunlight. Still not quite sharp. I mean, if you look around Petaluma, it's a little fuzzy. The dudes are a little fuzzy. This is okay. I mean, as a point and shoot, it would pass, I suppose. Definitely not a keeper. This is a keeper shot. I like this in my local coffee shop. This one didn't come out so bad. I tell you. It's just absolutely crazy. So I took it. Here's a friend of mine I work with named Alex. I let him, because let him take his portrait. This is an automatic mode. Took a second for it to find focus. He wasn't moving, not super sharp at all. This is in a different automatic mode. Again, not sharp. And this one is actually in the portrait mode. And again, not really as sharp as it should be. Funny thing is, it actually got focused better, quicker when it was in the portrait mode. So maybe playing around with the modes, that would help. Here's an indoor shot of a lamp. Not too bad, but not super sharp. The worst thing was this. It's a hummingbird. This hummingbird was really cool. He was sitting there not moving. Look at this. Look at the chromatic aberration on this lens. It is absolutely terrible. Anyway, I can just go on and on. These things. No, this guy was not moving. Should absolutely be totally sharp, and it's not. So that's pretty much it. The quality is not there. $400. No, thank you, guys. And even back in the day, $799 plus an additional $300 for the optical viewfinder. Don't waste your money, folks, in 2024. Keep using your cell phone. All right. Okay, so the images weren't that great either. I mean, I just don't get it. $400. Your cell phone right now is way, way better than this camera. Do not spend $400 today on this camera because your cell phone takes way better pictures. I mean, right now, digital zooming sucks. That will change as time goes on. But the zoom on this isn't worth the $400, and it really isn't that much better than your cell phone. Keep your money. Don't spend $400 on this thing. And now, if you're into these and you have one and you're really successful with it, great. But 10 years old versus a cell phone, it's just not worth it. Today, if you want to spend $400 on a camera, you can get a really nice used DSLR with a lens. That will be a fantastic camera. It'll be a great foundation to build your photography on. You'll be able to add glass to this thing, maybe eventually get a nicer body, but you'll still be able to take good quality images, and it'll be a great place to start. This, as a camera goes, is a complete dead end. 2024, this camera for $400? Nope, do not waste your money. Use your cell phone and then buy a real camera. That's my opinion, guys. Maybe I had to take the time to customize it and all that. It would be better, but yeah, that's just not me. I just not. This is just it would be a total waste of $400. If I came across one for like $100, I'd buy it simply because I try to turn around and sell it to some poor guy who thinks these are great. Anyway, that's enough. It's enough complaining. Till the next time, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share. I am still giving away that lens. I got to hit 500 subs. As soon as I do that, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to have a lot more stuff to give away down the road. A lot more videos coming up on various topics. And thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, keep shooting. I'm out.